Wondering why so much police was around. It's like a memorial for that Nazi terror attack in Hanau a year ago. There was like one demo earlier against Ukraine, or against the war in Ukraine, I guess. And yeah, the city was full of police cars. So it's maybe more like maybe more fear of terror attacks or something. Who knows? Same. Yeah, I'm still wondering why I'm not renaming my channel to the Weather channel, since I'm almost there with the raid to be like both the Weather girls. So yeah, we did a Wing Chun session yesterday, my wife and I, and that was quite fun. Yeah, so I'm probably going to continue that. But like yeah, for me it was like I did Wing Chun like 20 years ago for about a year, so not very long, not very intensive. Enough time to develop bad habits, but so actually he talked a little bit about stuff that changed. So when and so like my main problem was actually when I was training back about 20 years ago. It was very aggressive, so it was like that idea that you should actually hit somebody before he even gets a chance, and like now they're a little bit more defensive, like go in a defensive posture, maybe push somebody away before you start confrontation, like there's more non-destructive ways to defend yourself in there, or like it's more like yeah, I think that they saw the same problem I saw, because my problem was at the time that I was I was relatively strong, good trained soldier, tall enough, I guess. So the idea when I would defend myself that way, I was very certain that I could end up with troubles, like for like yeah, like from the self-defense perspective. And I think this was like one of the major reasons I stopped training, and also I moved cities, and so I'm not quite sure maybe if I wouldn't have moved. Mainly started because like in the village where the army was located, that was like the only thing available there. So that was the main reason I went there. I was doing like karate on the side as well. Yeah, but that was quite interesting. Like especially for me, what I never realized is how strong my wife actually is. Because she's like often she's tired and from her work and such, but like her upper body strength is I think she can push away some guys, really. Like yeah, she really has strength in her arms and upper body, and to much more than I expected. And like the thing was like a couple of last year sometime, like that there were two guys on drugs in the train, and they cornered her in, and she was with the kids, and they cornered her in like in the last point of the train, so she couldn't leave, and they went all the way till here, and they were muttering like, we're going to beat you or something like that, and they were super aggressive like in their language, and like I think if she had used her force, she would have probably smoked them both. There she is. like the city. There's always so nice scenery here with the clouds and the tower there. So there's the present assembly. So cooking some healthy food once again. Yeah, family doesn't like if I cook healthy food. That really drags down the motivation to do that. So, science. This has been going on for 3 days already. Let's talk a little bit about the war in Ukraine. Yeah, I still find like a personal insult from President Putin to start a war on my son's birthday. Yeah, I wasn't confident enough to like do relatively time near commentary. For me, like when Putin announced that he recognized the 2 states in the eastern Ukraine, I was hoping that was like his way out to de-escalation. Because Putin has done this saber rattling all the time, and backing down without achieving anything would probably feel like a loss or lose of face, and I think this is something which Putin personally is very afraid of or does not like at all. And Putin has a bad standing in Russia the last couple of years, I guess. I think probably maybe since Crimea, but annexing Crimea was quite popular in Russia, I think. But his popularity has been swaying and has been on a downturn for quite a while. So it's like I think it's like more in Russia. The situation is like more that he's not quite popular, but there's nobody else around. So it's like makes people flock to him. It's yeah, doesn't have the big majority he used to have. But yeah, so that was my first idea there and hope. And sadly, then on my son's birthday on Tuesday, he started the invasion. And at the moment, it's like day 3. It looks like the Russian army is absolutely underperforming from what was expected, I guess, from international side and from Russia itself. I was thinking more that they probably like sweep over the country, take it very fast, and then have to fight a prolonged guerrilla war if they want to, and that would be really terrible for Russia. And I think what's happening now is even worse for the Russian side. The protest. The one thing which was noticeable was that the propaganda in Russia itself started really late. So just a couple of days before the actual invasion. So the Russian population hasn't been primed to. Oh yeah, they're doing war crimes and stuff, and they're doing stuff to civilians, and there's so many Nazis running around in the Ukraine, and we need to do something. That all hasn't happened long enough and early enough to prime the Russian population. So there are actually anti-war protests in Russia itself. So the Russian soldiers seem to be have the same problem. I think they if you don't have the propaganda for the population, they probably don't have it for the army as well. And if they have it for the army, I think communications are much harder to control nowadays, and with internet and everything. And I think the Russian soldiers for one have Ukraine and Russia have been in a very close relationship for a long time. There are many family ties in each direction. And Russian soldiers seem to be very reluctant to take up the fight, while the Ukrainians have a very high motivation. I think the whole thing with extending NATO. Oh, my hair looks terrible. With extending NATO eastward, it's the way Russia has behaved the last decade. Everybody in Eastern Europe who isn't in the NATO, it would be quite stupid to not be there. And I think that's I think what is not talked so much about is that in the 2000s, early 2000s, it was looking like Russia would come into NATO, which would have been quite interesting and from a peacekeeping perspective. So I think at the moment it's really terrible that this war has been started, and hopefully it will bring the Putin regime down, and hopefully with in the midterm, and then hopefully with some measure of control, and not ending in a prolonged civil war, because that's terrible. Wars always terrible, but it's like civil wars are usually the worst kind of wars for the population, everybody, and that's something I can see. I think what I heard today is that they are pulling troops from Chechnya, not quite sure, like Kadyrov and his men, and they're pulling them to the Ukraine, which, because they don't have any probably don't have any scruples to fight against the Ukrainians. But on the other hand, those troops will probably very soon contribute, do some atrocities, and that will probably motivate the Ukrainians even more. I think just sending them will. But on the one hand, probably some people will be afraid. But I think the motivation in Ukraine is getting higher and higher on a certain level, because they can very claim to be the good guys. Like if you get attacked and you have been attacked before, that's quite a motivation. I think the popularity of Russia and Ukraine is really on a long time low, and I think this is the whole. What I was thinking when they started the war was very much thinking about Chamberlain and Peace of Our Times, and like I personally I had really big troubles with in Germany. There were many people who said, "Oh yeah, let him keep Crimea. That was Russian territory and such," and I was like, "No, that's absolutely not acceptable." And it proves me absolutely right. You cannot really appease an autocrat. That does not work, it seems. And I think lifting the embargoes over Crimea without having a real solution there in place was a huge mistake, and they should have gone much harder on Russia about Crimea. So not making a big deal out of that, or like in Germany there was this whole Nord Stream 2 thing, and the idea that we wanted to normalize relations with Russia, which on the one hand is not bad. I think excluding Russia is not really a long time perspective, or like this at that point. Now we're at a point where, unless there's like a regime change and normalization in Russia, there it needs to be economically crushed, even if it's hard for the population. But really, that has to happen. We at a point in history where we haven't been since. I think the last thing of that magnitude was China annexing Tibet, and we made a big deal about that for like 40 years. And I think with Ukraine, we should be as resilient. I think it's a very. You could even say like Tibet, that was a dictatorship in a way, monarchy. That was probably more. This was probably more justified than Ukraine attack on Ukraine, from a certain perspective. And like it started with Crimea, and I was saying with Crimea, it's absolutely not acceptable to violate the territorial integrity of any country. And I think Putin and Russia is behaving really stupid in the whole situation. And we mustn't forget that they shot down MH17, killed about 300 civilians there, and that was not a big deal. And now this, really, no matter where it goes, this will, unless that there is a regime change in Russia due to this. And I'm really also remembered of the Falkland War and such. I think maybe Putin is actually feeling that this is his only way out, but the way he's doing it, he actually weakens his position in the country. So, but yeah, it reminds me very much of the Falkland War. I'm cooking by the side, some stuff in there. I think failure will certainly bring much trouble there. and at the moment it looks like they're more failing than expected. Like for me, I was thinking a prolonged guerrilla war in Ukraine would also be very terrible for everybody involved, but would also be very unpopular in Russia itself. I was like, well, what's going at the moment looks like maybe it's going even faster, and I think I just hope. I think like if it goes faster, if the Russians can't advance anymore, like at the moment it looks like China has a little bit of Russia's back. That certainly has to stop. And I think the position from China's perspective is also like very problematic because they have like their own problems, there are regions who want to split off, and like on the one hand, like they certainly wanted to take Taiwan and have interests there, but on the other hand, I think they have their own regions where they have similar problems comparatively, where parts of the population want to break off, and like that's like one of the key arguments is like in the eastern Ukraine we have Russian speaking population and or ethnical Russian population, and they will be suppressed. And I think like that was the whole thing with Crimea. So like invading there, pushing all the Ukrainians out, and then do a vote afterwards to justify it, but to actively. That's that like China has many regions where this would be absolutely possibility. If anybody would, any of its neighbors would be so inclined. So I think like for China, this is not really acceptable. Like many people, like on the pro-Russian side, which is really, I think arguing for Russia at this point is really, it's really no longer reasonably possible. Like some people compare it to Kosovo. But I think like one big thing in the Eastern Bloc is that with the breakup of the Soviet Union, there have been many conflicts dwelling in the region about borders and such. And like if anybody takes over from Putin, this needs to be one of the prime issues that they clarify and clear up those wars. Maybe allow independence or more political autonomy or self-rule for those regions. Like with Crimea, for example, I think the annexion was absolutely criminal. But on the other hand, like if there had been like problems like that, the population needs to be protected, or like the Ukrainians trying to maybe take the Russian bases where they have long-term contracts and stuff like that. That would be maybe a reason to do something, but they did it preemptively without provocation, and that was really a stupid move, I guess. Like if the Ukrainians had been doing evil stuff, that would be looking better justification for war. But yeah, like in the end, war is terrible for all involved people, and yeah, it's like I was fearing a long-term guerrilla war, or partial civil war, which is really terrible. And now it looks like maybe it's going faster. Maybe the Russians are really beaten in the field, or not, or have to give up their advances and then search negotiations. Yeah, will probably save much blood for all sides, but like at this point, I really don't see. I really don't have any idea. I think, or it's mixed. Like I think with this thing with Kadyrov and his Chechenian guys coming over, I think that's absolutely terrible move from Russia because they will on the one hand, like the Ukrainians are very motivated to defend their country, but on the other hand, they also have the same restrictions as the Russians. No? They see each other very close, so it's it does put some limitations behind you if you have like the feeling or a connection to the people you're shooting at, and if the people, if you can vilify them, like with Kadyrov, that's not very difficult, and they will probably do some shit in Ukraine, which will make it much worse, propaganda-wise. Yeah, that's the thing with it's the same like when like if they go around and kill Ukrainian politicians and make martyrs out of them, that will not forward the Russian cause, I guess. So I think that it's really one of the stupidest wars in the recent history. Like makes Iraq look like a brilliant thing, actually, and a brilliant justified thing in the end. And it really shows how little capacity for learning humanity has. I think Putin is really desperate to keep his grip on power, and that's the reason he's doing this. I cannot imagine any other thing, because like for most time he seemed to be intelligent and maybe even some kind of wise leader for his country, like especially in the first years. But I'm not guessing that he has been like I had for a long time. I saw him like as democratically legitimated and popular in Russia, and maybe even good for Russia. And at this point, since this Crimea thing started, I became clearer to me how much of an actually autocrat and dictator he is in this country. And like this started when he had like, and Russia has like this 2-term thing for presidency, like the US. And that started when he did that coup where he became prime minister for a couple of years and had Lackey do the president jobs, and then since his term was interrupted, or since he started a new term, he had himself elected a new. I'm not quite sure if they changed the constitution or something, but I think that was like the start of the whole autocrat phase. But at that point, he still had like the popular support, and I think I don't see that he will get that back, even no matter where it goes. Like if he can occupy Ukraine and have a prolonged civil war there with guerrilla forces, Russian soldiers getting lost, Ukrainian civilians getting killed by Russians, that will be not very popular in Russia. No, I don't think so. Neither in Russia nor not Ukraine, but Ukraine is already lost for him. So that will be that yeah, like when your sons come home in tin cans, that's not very good with your own. That's not going well with your own population. Look at Vietnam, look at Afghanistan, both Russia and Afghanistan, and US and Afghanistan, Iraq, wherever. If when you're killing civilians and getting your own sons sent back in tin cans, that's really a really bad deal, no matter what you're getting out of it, and that's really a hard sell on anybody, I guess. Yeah, who would support something like that? But the thing is like this idea of of losing face, and yeah, we already it's actually a example for a lost what's called lost cause fallacy. Like, we already invested that in that, and we already lost so many soldiers, so we cannot abandon it. And I think the prime example is like the U.S. embassy in Saigon in '72, when like the I think the ambassador to Vietnam lost his own son in the war, and they were like denying that the war was lost, like about like till the day when the helicopter flying off the base there. So yeah, this is like we invested so much, we put so much in it. So we cannot pull back, and that's a very often occurring thing. So it's not specifically a war thing, but I think that's something where Russia is at this point. So we really Putin should have he should have should have such negotiations, get some token price to maybe more autonomy for those two regions in the east, which he already occupies with indirect forces, and then pull out of it, because this will hurt Russia and the Russian population and the Russian economy so much. I read a comment that nobody's doing so much for green energy and against global warming in Germany. The person who's doing most of that is actually President Putin at the moment, and that's absolutely true, because one thing I've been saying for a really long time now is that there are many ideas that there. Actually, if you are now in the anti-green energy sphere, let's say, think about what green energy actually means. It's energy independence. No more imports for energy. That's quite sexy, and makes your country much more defensible. That's the whole deal with Russia is going to pull the gas exports to Germany, and we will have to pay more for gas. That's a possibility, but it's not. It's actually more problem for Russia than for Germany on the midterm, and stuff with Nord Stream 2. And so Russia has proven that it is not a trustworthy partner, and then we cannot rely on somebody like that. And for example, the gas from Russia has been coming to Europe in the darkest days of the Cold War. So you could say, okay, that will be running always, no matter what, because they're much too dependent on what they get for the gas. But it shows very much that this dependence we must not have this dependence on. It's the same bit with oil from Saudi Arabia and stuff like this. You cannot really depend on such people to provide you basic energy needs. And green energy is a really good way to get out of that cycle where you have to support regimes with questionable morals, just so you can get I think gasoline is like €2 per liter at the moment almost. So it's really expensive. It's probably $10 per gallon or something, easily. But that's always been expensive in Germany. But enough about that. See, it's changing so fast and so much is happening there. Probably all I've talked is already outdated. So the main reason I've not talked so much before, or made dedicated videos, because the situation is evolving too fast, and it's I really don't want to be go in that rabbit hole where I'm only watching Ukraine stuff, same as after 9/11, where many people were watching news 24/7 and getting really obsessed with that. It's really not healthy, but it's not so far away. It's 800 kilometers, maybe 800, 900 kilometers from here. So I think for many Germans it's very far away, and for many Germans it's very close. So it's a mixed bag there. And of course, people will flee from the Ukraine, and many will end up here. And I think Germany has shown that we can absolutely handle that. It's really not. We have the infrastructure, we have everything in place. We actually need young people to come here, so it's really not a big deal from that perspective. I think if you look then back in 20, 30 years, there will probably be much more Ukrainians in Germany due to that conflict, because always some people are staying. I see this usually as an enrichment of the culture, like Vietnamese communities in the US or such. That's always something which you get which can follow up and be interesting, but yeah, it's much more long term. Let's hope let's hope it's over relatively fast and has actually not the consequences that Russia will be in embargoes for like 20, 30 years till President Putin kicks the bucket for old age, but rather like have them a really fast transition, hopefully with somebody responsible who leads their country into the next century, and yeah, and then have this a lesson for autocrats that like war is really no longer a means to get power, to get stuff. Yeah, it's really it shouldn't like if you look at the history, like there are very few wars where you can really say that there was like there's always a winner, but in the end, like the suffering on both sides, it's usually enormous, and I think there's usually some quick change, like for example the Second and First World War did much for the liberation of women, I guess, but or on the other hand, like our position on genocides and human rights has really evolved due to the Second World War and the United Nations and such. But I think having that like 5 or 10 years later and have spared all those peoples the suffering would have probably been better in the end, I guess. Yeah. See you guys next week, and then we maybe have an update, or maybe I'll do some dedicated daily videos or something. I'm not quite sure, but yeah, I'm not quite sure where it's going and where I stand. But yeah, other than I hope not too many people will suffer, and actually the prolonged suffering. I'm really hopeful at the moment that this will not be such a situation where you like Syria or something, where you have like a forever war going on and on and on, and people suffering without end. I really hope this does not go there, and same for the Russian people. I don't hope that. I hope there will be a regime change in Russia, and like with a new clean plate, it will probably be much easier for the Russians to do the reforms which are necessary, clear up their borders, clear up the small conflicts, become part of the greater community. Yeah, maybe even become part of NATO or something. That would be really wonderful, because that would be like eliminate the danger of a big scale nuclear war, like by 99%, which would be really wonderful for the whole world, I guess. Yeah, I think Russia and the NATO, that would have been a really good thing. Like 2000, have Russia and the NATO before 9/11, or like with 9/11, maybe that would have been the point where Putin could have said, oh yeah, we have terrorism problems here as well, that the school attacks and everything. Yeah, let's band together and do something together. That would have been really beautiful, right? In a sense, because yeah, then like if everybody's in the defensive alliance, it could have ended like in the German Empire, where everybody inside the alliance is doing wars against each other. But I imagine that we're a little bit further evolved, but yeah, missed that chance there. Maybe it comes again, and yeah, I think this is where it could go. Yeah. Either Russia is isolated and population will suffer with embargoes, and yeah, like sometimes like in Iraq, those embargoes can really be a good argument for the regime to say, oh yeah, you're suffering only because the evil West is doing the embargo and we don't get the stuff we need. That's really something which can happen. On the other hand, like if your population is getting hungry, that's usually very bad for the government, and yeah, you have to keep the population well fed, which in Russia's case is actually, I think, quite possible and tangible. But like I think the Russian population is at a point, especially like regions like Moscow and such, where they have much higher needs. Like they want Apple products, they want fast cars, they want stuff like that, and which Russia cannot actually provide on its own. So yeah, let's see. maybe they'll get their own the Grand Firewall and be like China in a way, or hopefully it will lead to big changes in Russia for the positive for the population and the Russians and the world. Yeah, like having Russia in the NATO would be, yeah, having like 95% of all nukes in the world in one alliance. That would be quite nice, I guess. Yeah. Having that like I grew up with the fear of an atomic war, and it is lessened now, but never went away. And having the US and Russia do something together would be really something to be celebrated and to be we could remember in like 100 years time, because that antagonism I don't think it has proven the world has done much good in the world overall. Yeah, bye bye guys.